What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, we're going to talk about getting out of debt. If you are in debt, you need to listen to this video because there are a lot of changes that are going to be happening in our economy. I'm going to be the person that's going to be upfront with you. So stay on this video because this is good. This is going to be great advice. Forget about good advice. But first, let me just tell you what's going on right now in our economy. And some people may not think that this will affect you. I'm just telling you, this is a precursor to the type of economy that we're going to be living in. No, I'm not talking about the dollar crashing. No, I'm not talking about the stock market crashing. I'm talking about something that is tangible that will affect you and your family moving forward. It's going to affect your children. It's going to affect your children's children. But maybe not in the same way that it's going to affect you that's listening to me right now. So first, let me just give you a little bit of background data about what is going on. I just looked up at my screen here. I have my TV screens here, and I always have it on CNBC, and I have another one over here on the news. And I just watch the reports that are coming out. And this helps me with my videos here on what, some of the topics that I want to talk about. On this one here specifically, it had a long list of companies that are laying off more people right now. First we saw the wave that happened right before Christmas. And now these same companies are doing another wave. Amazon, 9,000. Credit Suisse, we know about the problems that they're having. They're going to also be laying off people. Facebook, Meta, laying off more people. Google, laying off more people. Microsoft, Salesforce, Ericsson, Dell, Disney, Philips, IBM, Goldman Sachs, and there's a whole long list of companies. Let me click that down there. A whole long list of companies that are doing this. And let me tell you, this is what people don't want to make you aware of. And this is going to be probably one of the most important statements that you're going to hear on YouTube and in your life. If you care about your finances. When I was coming into work, I was listening to a radio show, and they were talking about people who were losing their SNAP benefits. They were talking about people who can barely pay their rent. They were talking about people who could barely pay their mortgage, barely pay their credit card bills, all of this type of stuff. They were facing all of these issues. And I was sitting there driving, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the situation that I was in when I started my first business in 1990. This exact situation. My wife and I, we were 20 years old. We could not afford barely anything. We were living in a studio apartment. I was working a third shift security guard job right out when I got out of the military. We were on getting food stamps because we could barely, feed feed ourselves and our two children. We were flat poor. But I think that what we did, that is either people are not getting, or people are not getting taught, or people are afraid, or people are just don't know how, is that regardless of what the government is doing, regardless of what companies are doing, regardless of what advice people are giving you, regardless of what people are telling you to do for your life, is that you need to have a plan on how you want your life to be. Because believe it or not, what you say to yourself is what starts to materialize on the outside. It does not materialize on the outside first. What happens is you get into a pattern of a thought pattern. You get into a financial pattern. You get into a pattern of what you think what your worth is. And then that starts to materialize on the outside. So if you think that you can only make what you're making right now and that someone has to give you a raise, then you're giving the power to them. See, when I was working that third shift security guard job, I said that if I want to move up, that I'm going to have to do something for myself. And let me tell you what I did the first time. The first way of moving up, which is probably the way that you're thinking, is that I said, okay, I'm going to be the best security guard at this college. It was a private college, and I'm going to move up. I went directly to the my boss at that time, and I said, "How can I move up to be able to make more money?" Because I had needed to make more money, but I wasn't going to just go walking in there saying I need to make more money. I want to say, how can I get promoted? And because when I was in the military, the way we made more money is we got promoted. So my 20-year-old self went to the my boss for the security guard company, and he said, "Oh, you need to get promoted." And he had these ranks. And believe it or not, the most the promotion was going to give me was a 50-cent raise. But I said, okay, I'm going to do this to get to the 50-cent raise. I did the work, got promoted, and I learned really quick that that was not the type of raise that I needed to be able to support my family. So now I want you to pay attention, stay with me. See, when that raise came to me, I understood completely that that was not going to work for me. And I think that some of the people some of you that may be watching this video, or other people that continually run into problems financially, is that they never put that together and say, this is not going to get me to where I need to be. Like, you need to understand that if you are not getting it at the place that you're at for your income, you're not going to be, it's not going to work, and you got to make that hard decision. But see, people are afraid to make the hard decision because then you have to accept change. And when you get ready to change, you don't know what's going to happen when you go through that door. Like, you're afraid that door is closed right now. You're about to open it. And because you don't have certainty, you're afraid to walk through it, even though you could be having what happened to me, where it was like life changing. So now the next side on that is that if you are making enough money at your job, you have a good job, you're making good money, then you have a spending problem. You need to get a hold of your spending. See, it's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be you're not making enough money at that job, and you need to make a determination if this job is going to be able to work for you. And then if you are making enough money at that job, then you're spending your money the wrong way. Because on that report, it outlined that people who were making even $150,000 a year, $150,000 a year. Let's just take out for the taxes and say $130,000 a year divided by 12. These people are making $10,833 per month. And I guarantee this is what they did. The more money they made, the more they spent. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I started my business in 1990, me and my wife started spending like crazy. We ended up over $300,000 in debt by the time it was from 1990 to 1994, making more than $100,000 a year income for ourselves, but we were $300,000 in debt. So that meant that we had a problem. The business was not a problem. Or if someone is making $100,000, their income is not a problem. They are the problem. So if we look back, if we look at everything, look at the big picture, and we're looking down and we're seeing either a family struggling with not enough income, or we're looking at a family struggling to pay their bills. Both of them have one thing in common. What is that? The individuals that are either working at a job that's not going to give them enough income, or the family that is getting the income and they're overspending their money. So this is something that I'm going to be putting together very soon, and I need to get back to work here. I got like 20 lawsuits that we're going to be assisting people with. People are struggling with debt. What I'm going to be doing, this is my promise. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting together a program that's going to show people exactly the way my wife and I got out of debt. Like, we do this for people, but I think I'm going to need to have a program where people can follow it, and then they can contact us if they need assistance. like that they will follow. But as long as people follow the program, I think that it'll be able to work. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at creditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes it different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com. Grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, debt validation, and cease and desist collection activities letter. I do ask for a donation. I thank everyone who do that. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.